Cassandra,
Hello.
how's it going?
Good.
For the uninitiated, please tell us a little bit about what you do.
Okay, so I do a few things.
Hmm.
What do I do? I am a musician. I'm a songwriter. I'm a singer. I'm also by day a public high school teacher
Oh, wow, I
in
didn't know that.
USD. Oh, you didn't?
I didn't
Oh,
know that you were a
yeah.
high school teacher. Hell yeah.
Oh my. Oh, yeah. It's
Sounds
like,
stressful.
it is, but it's fine. And I'm glad, right now I'm very grateful to have a job.
Yeah.
So, so yeah, so that's what I do by day. That's my day job.
Hmm.
And by night, or it's all mixed up now. So, I do both things. So I'm like singer, songwriter. I also am a whistler.
Hmm.
Um, I'm from LA, born and raised.
Nice. You have a...
Grew up in Venice.
Oh, wow. How was it growing up in Venice, right next to the beach?
Yeah, it was cool. It was so different. Everyone who grew up in Venice says this, but I grew up in Venice in the 90s and it was dangerous,
Hmm.
and it's the amount that it's gentrified is so crazy.
Hmm.
It's just doesn't really resemble where I grew up. I don't know. It's very strange, but yeah, that's where I'm from. Actually, from LA. I'm a
Damn.
unicorn. Unicorn.
Yeah, I'm from like greater LA, but not like LA proper. I grew up in Simi Valley, which
Aw.
you may or may not be familiar with.
I love Simi Valley.
Why would anyone love Simi Valley?
I don't know. Where's the movie? Where's the movie Encino Man set? Oh, fuck Encino, right?
Yeah, probably.
I don't know. What's Simi Valley from? Oh, Clueless.
Is there a clueless scene in Simi?
No, but shoot, I might be wrong.
Uh-huh.
But I think, have you seen Clueless?
I've seen it, but it's been so long. I was like 10 years old when I saw it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I only know every line because I watched it maybe 1,000 times as
Perfect.
a preteen.
Yeah.
Um, but there's this. She goes to this party. I think she goes to a party and she calls her dad from a payphone or something to pick her up. And her dad's like, "Where are you?" And she's like, "I'm in Simi Valley." I think that is the only thing I know about Simi Valley, off the top of my head, and I could be wrong.
Yeah,
But anyway.
it's suburbia. It's Santa Clarita with less money, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what it is. So you have a single coming out beginning of
I
June,
do.
right?
Oh my God, I do have a single coming out.
Tell me
Yes.
tell me about this single that's coming out.
Okay. I will totally tell you about the single. So a while ago, um, I've always had this really weird relationship with social media.
Yep,
So is
me
everybody.
too.
It's so strange.
Totally.
Like, I don't know, and I feel like we sort of started to exist. And I don't know about pandemic life because everything is, from before times, BT. But
Oh my God, are we gonna have a new
yeah,
BC AD and then
BT.
BC before? That's
I
so
think it's
funny.
the before times, BT. It's
Yeah.
all from BT, but in BT, I start to feel I feel like everyone is doing things for the sake of posting them.
Mm,
Like, you know what I mean? I'm making a cake, but I'm gonna post it. So
yeah.
people tell me how cute the cake is, or I'm gonna, I don't know. I just think I'm gonna go out with my friends and then I'm gonna post it.
Yeah.
And I feel like there's this culture. I'm gonna go to Coachella, which I wish we could right now, but
Yeah.
I'm gonna go and post a bunch of pictures, and then everyone's gonna know that I'm here, and then everyone who's not here is probably gonna feel bad.
Mm,
Or I'm gonna go to the Super Bloom and take a whatever. And so then it became what's the point of doing something if you can't post it?
Yeah.
And so it's sort of like a chicken like eating its own head. No, is it a snake? It's just like, what's the point? Like, what's the point of doing anything anymore? So I had this line came to me like, we're always missing out on everything. Like, literally since we're born, there's always something else going on that could probably be better than what we're currently doing. So that line came to me, and that's the chorus. From the moment we're born until we are no more, we're always missing out on everything. Like, it just feels like there's something better going on.
Yeah.
That we could be participating in. So, yeah. And I feel like, so the single's called Super. And I have a bunch of friends and she go every year to wherever it is. Can I curse on this?
You can 100% fucking say whatever you want.
Great. So everyone is like fucking going to the Super Bloom and like, yay, here I am with the puppies. And every year I always forget about it or I miss it or I never remember in time.
Totally.
And by the time I'm like, I should go, all the poppies are gone and dried up. But then I thought, like, do I even want to go to see the poppies or do I just want to take a picture? So that's where that song came from. It sounds kind of like it's sort of inspired by Harry Nilsson, one of my faves, like weird, quirky 70s, and also kind of like a little country. And there's this like really like groovy solo at the end. It's sort of like 70s vibe. It's like,
hell yeah, like
sort of like country, but then like a little acid trippy at the end. But the lyrics are about social media and how it's fucked my mind.
Yeah, it's a strange thing to have to negotiate with, the whole social media thing. You know what I saw recently was that animated movie, The Point, that Harry Nilsson did.
Yes! Oh, it's so great.
Blew my mind. I went from not knowing who Harry Nilsson was to just being completely in love.
Oh, I mean, if you are a songwriter,
yeah,
you will love him. Like, there's no way you can't love Harry Nilsson. He's like ahead of his time. Incredible voice too. Like, what? Like, oh my God. I mean, just every single thing about him. He like did all of these pioneering things.
Yeah.
He was so strange. Was like best friends with John Lennon, right? I mean, and they would just like party all around LA. And like, I mean, just like legendary man. Yeah. I also happen to, my friend, Bobby is, and I also now I'm friends with his son, Kifo Nilsson, who's really awesome. Cool. And sometimes he puts together these Harry Nilsson tribute shows. Well,
oh wow.
When there are shows. And there was one at Dynasty Typewriter last year where we played, and I actually sang on this show. He played all of The Point. Yeah. And it was really cool because there were many Nilssons in the audience.
Damn, that's wild.
It was wild back when before times could have shows.
Yeah, I've still never been to Dynasty Typewriter. Is that in downtown?
Yeah, it's sort of near, oh my God. Okay. I'm really bad with directions, but I do know it's near MacArthur Park.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
I think. No. Oh my God. Where is it? It's right next to a park. Oh my God. This is embarrassing. No.
Oh, you're totally
I don't know where it is. I'm so bad at directions. The thing is, it's embarrassing because I'm from LA. Like, it's why it's embarrassing.
Well, it's like we never have to practice knowing where something is because we just put it in our phones. So like it's not surprising that none of us know like where stuff is because we just Google Maps it.
Well, some people it comes easier to them. Like my boyfriend, for example, is always like, "Oh yeah, the cross street is this and this, and we're facing east." And I'm like, I don't know, where's the ocean? Like I don't know where I am. I never know where I am, like in space at any point in time. But oh well. Yeah. Anyway, Dynasty's cool. It's very much like a little theater.
Dope. How did you make this single? Did you make it with a producer? Did you?
So my very good friend Joe Barry. It's actually part of an album that I'm going to be releasing later this year. Cool. And my friend Joe Barry, who is also in M83, is producing the album, and so he has a very like trippy wacky sensibility.
Nice.
And yeah, and I had like some people in my band play on it. I had this amazing guitar player, shred. Her name is Gretel, and she fucking
Cool.
shreds at the end.
Hell yeah.
She's really amazing.
Mm.
Yeah, this guy Zephyr played. You know Zephyr?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not great
Played on
friends with
it.
Zephyr, but I run into him from time to time.
Yeah, Zephyr played on it. Brajesh played on it.
Perfect.
I played with Rajesh for a long time. He's a good homie. We saw your show together actually.
I love Brajesh. Yeah,
Me
and
too.
thanks for coming. I remember exactly what both you and Brajesh said to me after the show, so
Oh,
I
really?
appreciate you being there. Yeah. Yeah, you were like you got to take this on a college tour. Play it somewhere. Play it anywhere.
I mean, I still believe that. Me and
Mm,
Rajesh were both just
thank you.
like blown away. We were like, "What?"
Mm,
We were like, "Yeah, we're this show. We should go." And then we were like, "Oh my god, this is
mm,
remarkable. It was really
thank
cool."
you.
Yeah,
Thank you. Thank you. It means a lot. It really
it's
does.
true. It's true.
And we played once together with Elias
I think.
Vasquez.
Oh my god,
That
that
was fun.
gig. Wait, weren't we like playing on the steps of
Yep.
CSUN?
Yep.
We're playing on the steps for like some ceremony or something, and then there was like these protesters.
Oh my God!
Remember?
Yeah, they were. Was it like the LGBTQA plus community of CSUN protesting like
LGBT.
some
Um,
rally?
I have no idea what it like. I don't know. We were literally just set up on the steps of CSUN. Like I was
Yeah,
like singing Amy Winehouse covers.
yeah,
And these like protesters coming through,
just
like
screaming.
screaming. It was so weird. It was like maybe top 10 weirdest gigs of my life.
Oh, was it? Did it have something to do with a rise in tuition? They were protesting a bump in tuition. I
Maybe.
I like really don't remember. I had fun playing though.
It was a lot of fun. I had a whole blast. I remember there were like two people who wandered by and they were like, "Oh, cool."
That's how it goes.
That's how it goes.
Did you go to CSUN?
No, I went to UCSB.
Cool.
But I
Is
know Elias, this is like a whole web, but I know Elias because of the Japanese rock star Miyavi.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
the first time I ever sang with Miyavi, Elias was playing cajon on a cover of Havana. I think he recorded a cover of Havana, and I
Yeah,
sang some background vocals, and Elias played cajon.
yeah.
And that's how I met Elias. It's
Cool.
so funny. Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
You are one well-connected individual.
I guess so. I
You have
mean,
lots of friends in many circles.
I guess so. I feel like, well, thank you. I think music is such a small thing. Like,
Mm,
I don't know, if you do it for long enough, everyone is connected somehow, you know?
totally.
Like,
Yeah.
it's funny too because I didn't actually write my first song until I was 26.
Mm,
Like I actually grew up playing I grew up like singing in choir, but my main thing was I played the clarinet.
cool.
Like I was really good at the clarinet, like classical clarinet. I had a clarinet teacher who was trying to convince me to audition to go to a conservatory where I
Mm,
would study classical clarinet,
yeah. It's heavy.
um, which I'm glad I didn't do in retrospect. But like, you know how there's this like false premise when you're like 18 and you're like, I guess I'm not going to go to a clarinet conservatory.
Mm,
And I was like, I have to give up music forever. And
mm,
that was like what I thought when I was
mm,
18. And then, like in my mid 20s, I went through a really bad breakup and I was like, oh,
mm.
I guess I could write a song. I've never tried. And I finally sat down and did it. Um, but yeah, I was a little older, so a lot of the people I know from college and stuff, I actually majored in English and creative writing at
Mm.
UCSB in the College of Creative Studies. So I don't only know musicians. I think in LA, a lot of people I know are like in journalism or like in I yeah,
Cool.
it's It's a wide web for sure.
What is it like studying creative writing? Were you focused on like poetry or narrative stuff or
Well, I went to this college, this like little college within UCSB called the College of Creative Studies,
mm,
where we could sort of do whatever we wanted. It was like
mm,
very, I think, yeah, I don't even think we got grades. No, we didn't. We didn't get grades for our classes. It was like very free.
cool?
So I just kind of like we took kind of whatever classes we wanted, and sometimes we would take regular like UCSB classes too.
Mm,
Um, but yeah, it was sort of like yeah, it was very freewheeling kind of deal. So I did take some poetry classes. My main thing was like writing nonfiction pieces,
mm,
which like just stories and stuff about like my life.
mm.
Um, and it's so funny too because I feel like since I've been in like since my mid 20s, I've just really pursued music. But since quarantine started, I haven't felt as inspired musically. I don't know, like
Mm.
how are you doing with that? Like I was thinking about it, and I'm working on finishing this album,
Hell
so it
yeah.
makes sense that I don't really feel like writing right now. But I was like, oh yeah, creative writing. Like I used to do that. I'm sort of
Hell
like
yeah.
missing this like artistic format that I used to really like doing. Are you
Yeah.
feeling inspired? How are you feeling in terms of writing songs?
I don't feel well. Um,
Are you not writing a song every day?
I've been writing maybe like two, three a week, something like
What?
that.
Shut the
Yeah,
fuck up.
yeah,
What?
yeah.
That what do you mean you're not feeling well? That's crazy.
Oh, I'm when you first started when you first started reacting, I thought that you were angry that I wasn't writing more. But are you saying that you're happy that I've been writing so much? Okay, I understand. So for me, like I part of the 365 project, and then also like my 365 project was paired with this like ultra running thing where
Oh yeah, I remember.
yeah, where I was just really trying to drill into my brain like the idea of endurance and like doing like the
Mm,
value of doing something when I don't feel like it.
yeah, yeah.
So I, writing like two or three times a week for me is like I don't feel very inspired to do that. But it's interesting because sometimes I'll feel very not inspired and I'll
Yeah.
sit down and I'll write something that's like really good, but I'm still like not inspired and it's really difficult to write it. And then a month later or 3 months later, I'll like revisit the song again and be like, fuck, like this is cool. I'm glad I sat
Yeah.
down and did this.
Like
Um,
for me, I think like I just don't like I don't know what to write about
mm.
right now. Like what is there to say? I feel like I'm also doing the artist's way
Hell yeah. I
with a
dig that
couple
shit.
yeah, with a couple friends and one of the things is like be aware of your negative blurts about your artistic journey.
Yeah.
And my thing right now is I'm just like what do people want to hear? Like
Mm.
I don't know. I just feel so strange writing. I feel like right now I don't know, like does someone want to hear a heartbreak song right now? Like
Mm.
I don't know, like what I think that also part of the artist's way. Anyway, that's a negative thought that I'm having, which is not
Yeah.
true.
I hear
Another
you.
thing about the artist's way is that, like, as an artist, you have, like, you know, a divine reason for making your art. You have a purpose. It has a purpose. Your art has a purpose.
Yeah.
And I know that's true. But right now in quarantine, I'm just like, I feel very at a loss a little bit musically.
I hear you. What about like what do you want to hear yourself write?
Yeah. I mean,
And it's also okay to like not want to hear anything too.
Yeah, I'm just mostly listening to podcasts. I think like everybody,
Hmm. I hear you.
which is very smart of you to do a podcast, man.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I've been working on this for a while actually.
I know.
I started recording live podcasts at my house in November. And I had like 20 backlogged before. That's not true. That is a gross over exaggeration. It was 16. That's the exact number. I just lied to you on the internet.
You
um,
rounded up.
I rounded up. Man, those extra four that just were not in existence.
Nope.
Um, so I had 16 like backlogged, and then I was just ready to like pull the trigger and start posting some of them, and then quarantine happened, and it was like, oh, I'm not going to be able to have people over for a while. I might as well just start doing them on Zoom.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, so now I'm doing it on Zoom, and I really enjoy like the conversations I have with people. The amount of work it is like I keep going back and forth on like whether or not I'll continue the podcast, not because I don't like doing it, but just because uh, it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
And you know, writing and recording music is also takes a lot of
Also
work.
a lot
So
of work. It's all a lot of work.
I know it's crazy.
Damn.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've been listening to a lot of podcasts.
What podcasts have you been listening to?
What have I been listening to? Um, oh, this is embarrassing. Well,
Okay.
okay. I listen to the Daily. That's
Hell
not
yeah.
embarrassing. I listen to the Daily when it's not like the most apocalyptic thing ever.
Yep.
Because sometimes it's like Jesus, like
Yep.
how I mean, I know it's not the responsibility of the news to make the world seem better when it's not good right now, but
Mm,
I'm just like, does it have to be this? It's like a joke of bad. Like, this
mm,
is like ridiculous.
yeah.
So I listen occasionally to something that's not too coronavirus related.
Yeah.
Um, Rabbit Hole is a great podcast. I
Mm.
also, this is embarrassing, but I do watch, I watch some trashy reality television.
Hell yeah. Love is
Uh,
Blind? Is that your shit?
um, I watched that. That was good.
Ah, nice.
That was
What
pretty good.
about what about
I don't
Love
even consider
Island? Are you
that
into
like
that shit?
it was trash, but like it was kind of like quality trash or something.
Cool.
Um,
Top shelf trash.
it was top shelf trash. It was like very well done. It was 10 episodes on Netflix. Each one was an hour long. It was very well edited. Like it was pretty good. I watch. This is embarrassing because it's very. I mean, there's so many problems with it, but I kind of watch it because I'm so fascinated. I watch The
Oh yeah.
Bachelor
Hell yeah.
um, and The Bachelorette, and
Great.
there's also a different show right now that I'm watching that's associated with it called Listen to Your Heart, which
Cool.
is all that's available right now because everything is on hiatus. So I
Mm,
like to listen to one or watch one like problematic show and then
nice.
listen to podcasts
Great.
about it. So yeah, that's my escape. So I do think that people are very into escapism right now.
Yeah, I've been playing a bit of video games. That's been my like get out of town thing. And then I've been like close to zero Instagram. I just like
Really?
I've not been on it because I get on it and it just bums me out.
Why does it bum you out? Let's talk about why it bums you out.
It bums me out because people aren't posting about shows, which is
Yeah,
a bummer.
yeah, I
And
know.
then people are posting like stay at home shows, which
Yeah, what do you think? Okay, let's talk about this. What is your opinion of a live stream like from home?
I think that it's something that I need to develop a better relationship with. So
Hmm.
I've done one and I actually liked the experience of doing it. Like it was pretty fun.
Hmm.
But my thoughts about it, when I think about it, it bums me out because,
Yeah.
it's so much better to be playing live or whatever. But I think that a better way to think about it would be to put it in its own category where like I understand that like it's not a replacement for playing live. It's just like it's this other thing. Um, and I know that like some people like Kiefer and other musicians have been like live streaming like in a much more kind of casual way where they'll just like play stuff and then there'll be a chat and then they're kind of talking to the chat and it's like more casual than you would ever be at a venue,
Yeah.
which that's like another it's like a different way of doing it that might be interesting.
Yeah, I think like, oh man, I don't know. I don't know. I for a long time, I did a couple of them and then I was like, ugh, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
Already I feel like playing music is like screaming into the void.
Yeah, I hear you.
Like, without, like, not on a live stream. Like, music is
Mm,
like, here I'm making some songs. Maybe
yeah.
someone will hear them, and like maybe like yes, I've had songs on TV shows and stuff,
Mm,
which has been wonderful.
yeah,
But like, I mean, by and large, I'm making art for myself. You know, I'm an
totally.
independent artist. So like, I already feel like when I'm making something, who knows? So then, like, to be on a live stream and then there's like, what, 5 people watching or something. It's just like,
I hear you.
I'm just like, this is so dark. But I did have this
Mm.
idea. I'm writing my morning pages from the artist's way
I
the
love
other.
that shit.
It's so good. You should totally do it.
I love that shit. I have done it.
I think
I
everyone's like dabbled.
I've done Artist Way. I love it.
Yeah. So I had this idea in my morning pages where I was like, oh, I'm cooking a lot.
Mm.
So maybe I could like cook something and then put it in the oven and then play
Yep.
songs while it cooks. And
Greatest
then
idea.
and then when it's done, like take the thing out and show it to people because I was like I don't want it's just so fake and strange and I wanted to make it more authentic to
Yeah.
myself.
Yeah.
So I did it last weekend and it was sort of a shit show.
How?
Well, I was really excited because I was like, oh my God, I had this amazing idea. It's so authentic to me. It's
Totally.
really authentic.
Yeah.
It is. It's a great idea.
It's a
And
wonderful idea.
it combines two things I love. And I guess the other thing, my issue with live streaming is like, why would I tune in? But if you're watching someone make something that, you
Yeah.
know, is an end product, that's more of a motivation that's cooler to me.
Yeah.
So I decided to make this galette,
Mm.
which is like, it's like a pastry and it's like, it has a crust and you roll out the crust and then you put fruit in the middle and you bake it. So I'd never made it before. So I started to make the galette and it was like actually really hard to make. Like I made it with these peaches and I couldn't like
Mm.
peel the peaches. Like the pits weren't coming out of the peaches and I was doing it on this live stream, but like
Mm.
no one was watching. And I was like, I'm just going to keep making this galette. And then I rolled out the crust and then the whole crust fell apart. And I was like, I don't know why I'm like, what's more upsetting to me? The fact that this, like I'm baking this thing that's falling apart or the fact that no one is watching.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I don't know which is worse.
Yeah, I hear you.
Like it was so stupid. And then I finally put it in the oven and I played some songs and then it came out and it was cool. But like, I mean, yeah, it was just like, it was very funny.
Yeah. Oh, one thing you might do is like watch. Have you watched a lot of musicians' live streams?
No.
Yeah, you might check some out just to see like it'll give you ideas for what you're into, what you're not into. Like
Yeah. I mean,
I've
yeah.
I've really liked a lot of Ben Gibbard's live
Hmm.
streams. Like it's been really cool to see him play in a much more like casual setting. And
Yeah.
Glenn Hansard did something for his birthday, and like that was really great to watch.
Hmm.
I think that it is possible to have like a positive experience with it.
Yeah.
We all just kind of need to figure out like how we want to use it.
Yeah. I still think my idea is good. I think I just need
100%.
a little more practice and like, I don't know. I think the idea of doing one thing at the same time every week
Yeah,
is like, well, you know, just force me to play so I don't forget how to play the guitar. And
totally.
you know? So I
Yeah.
think and maybe more people will watch if I'm like, hey, I don't know, who knows? Who knows?
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to be like, oh, no one's watching, but at the same
Right.
time, like it's that whole thing of like you want people to see it, but then you're also doing it because you want to do it, but
I mean, it's
then it's
impossible
also
to divorce like your watching of the stream from the stream and you playing music. Like you
totally.
just like hyper aware of what's going on and who's watching you and like how you look and
Mm.
it just is very weird and like self-conscious.
Yeah,
Yeah.
even like doing the podcasts on here on Zoom, like when people would come over, people would just come over and we'd sit at the table and like 10 minutes in, we'd forget that there was microphones or a
Yeah.
camera or
Yeah.
anything. It's just like, but here with the, with the Zoom, it's like the whole time it's very obvious that we're on the internet.
Yeah. You're on the internet and you're aware. That's why I didn't want to see myself. I'm also for
Yeah.
teaching. I'm doing some form of Zoom classes like
Yeah.
twice a day for
Mm,
like an hour,
mm,
like every day of the week. So I get very like Zoom fatigued,
yeah.
which is why I was just like, I don't even want to look at myself on this thing. Like,
Yeah.
just, you know,
Yeah.
I
I need to use a restroom really quick.
ooh, I'll do it too.
So I'm going to do that and then we'll be back. Cool. And we're back from our little break. I am interested. I know it's a bummer. I am interested to hear more about the teaching on Zoom stuff. I've been teaching online lessons on Zoom, and it's quite a headache.
You're teaching guitar?
Yeah, guitar and then a little piano.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, it's very weird. Like, it's very, I mean, weird. Like,
Yeah.
LAUSD,
Hmm.
the superintendent said that no student can fail
Huh.
because they're not signing in because a lot of families are, who knows what's going on, the pandemic, the internet, there's a lot of factors. But he said that publicly that no kid can get an F. And I think some kids when they heard that were like, "Oh, okay." So like I'm like, "Hey guys, here I'm gonna be online at this time. Like, come on!" And I'm teaching, but it's really hard to get kids like all of them to sign on. Like, normally you'd have what like 28, 30 kids, um, but it's just hard to get them online.
Mm.
So yeah. So I mean, it's been fine with the kids who do sign on. But it's a real struggle to get kids there.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I could imagine. If I was in high school, I probably wouldn't be showing up either.
Yeah, you'd be like, fuck yeah, vacation.
Yeah, like high school me. Like current me, if I'm in school and I'm doing something, for sure I'd be there. But high school
Yeah.
me, whoa.
I asked one of my students the other day because I
Uh,
wanted to like do a little joke thing for them. I was like, what's something that I always say in class? Like, what's a thing that I say a lot? Like, do I have like a catchphrase? Like, tell me what I'm like. And she's like, honestly, I don't remember being in school. She just doesn't.
Oh my God, that's super dark.
It's been like 2 months, and I don't remember anything but this. Is basically what she said.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy? Like when you're a teenager,
Yeah.
like 2 days ago is like a year ago. So imagine being like 16 right now, and you're in school, and there is no school.
Yeah.
Like everyone is just what is life? I mean,
Mm.
it's really crazy. So I think everyone is just doing the best they can.
Yeah. Totally.
You know?
Are you an English teacher? Is that what you do?
Yes, I am.
Cool.
I'm
Lots
trying to
of
keep it separate. I feel like teaching music would bum me out, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it can. It can at times.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes I really love it.
Yeah.
But a lot of the times, it's rare to find students that are excited about the same things that I'm excited about. So an experience that I'll have pretty often is we'll get into a subject and then I'll be like, this is the coolest thing because of all of these reasons, and I'll go on this like minute rant and they just like don't care. But then for me, like that's an opportunity for me to kind of check myself and like make sure that I'm teaching them about things that they're excited about. Because at the end of the
What are
day,
you
like
ranting about? Like, what's so exciting?
the idea, this is like some like theory shit, but basically the idea that every note in a scale has a personality. Like they all want to do something, and they all like if you spend time with them and you develop a relationship with them, like you start to hear these different things that they like to do, and at the heart of it, like that's what harmony is all of these notes like have their own will. And like just when I studied stuff like that, it unlocked all these things for me. And then I'll like teach my students about that, and they just could not care.
See, to me, that sounds really cool. Like when I hear that, I'm like, shoot, I really should have gone to music school.
Yeah, it's weird. Like, on the one hand, I'm super happy that I went to music school and I spent 6 years just because I'm super slow at studying music. But I spent like a couple years really, really studying, really learning how to play. But it's like now living in Los Angeles and trying to release records and play shows and be like a career musician,
Mm-hmm.
all that knowledge stuff, it really doesn't matter. That like the common factor that I see in all of my friends succeeding or anyone that I'm not friends with who is succeeding is just all it takes is people that choose themselves, and they choose
Mm-hmm.
themselves to do the thing they want to do. And I think if you do that for 5 to 10 years, then eventually it just happens.
Ooh, I love that. You choose yourself.
I think that's what it is. Because honestly, like I'll go to I'll go to so many shows,
Yeah.
and I'll go to these shows where it's full of fucking people and everyone's super into it, and I just like can't stand it, and I don't understand anything like why anyone would like the shit that's going on. And at the end of the day, it's like I think this person just chose themselves, and like everyone is reacting to that.
Mm. Ooh. I mean, yeah, in the artist's way, she says that it's like, what is it? You're like audacious or something. Like you just have to have the audacity to be like, yeah, I am great.
Yeah, it's wild. And it's not even like you don't even have to think you're great. You just have to fucking do it. Like I've been watching a lot of Big Thief live videos and
Yeah.
interviews and stuff. Incredible band. They don't they'll put themselves down musically like, "Oh, we don't really know what we're doing" or whatever
Hmm.
else, but like they're out there playing and they're out there doing it. There's a lot
Yeah.
of musicians that I went to school with who are incredible musicians who know everything about music, but they never actually choose themselves to like play or to release music or to do anything.
Mm. Ah, I love it.
Yeah.
I mean, I think even if you are choosing yourself, I think you have to like, you have to, yeah, you just have to believe that you have something to say that people
Yeah,
want to.
totally.
Because I mean, if you don't think that, then no one else will.
Mm, I agree.
I think, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a wild thing, and made even more wild now by there not being any shows or
Yeah.
any real music industry. It's crazy. We'll see how long it takes until venues are allowed to operate again.
Yeah. It's so crazy. I mean, another reason why I regret not going to music school is just like,
Hmm.
I wish. I've always wanted to know more about theory. Like, definitely in high school, I had teachers who were like, oh my God, look at this cool scale. Like, probably like you, or something like, wow, all of the circle of fifths, so cool. And
Yeah.
and I'm like, ugh, whatever. I don't want to practice scales. It's so boring. But now, as an adult, I'm like, God, I wish like I had honored this practice more by really deeply understanding it. And I also kind of, and I think when I'm done with this album that I'm working on, I want to try to produce some of my own stuff.
Cool.
Because I think that's really fucking cool. Like I love working with everybody, but I mean, by and large, a lot of the producers I've worked with and stuff like that have been guys. And I think in my limited experience of working with women, it's always just like, oh my God, this is so awesome. Like, it feels so different. And I can't put my finger on why exactly, but it just does. So I think it would be really cool, I don't know, to try to like, and we'll see. I mean, I could get annoyed, but like to try to figure out how to produce something for myself. Just
Totally.
Because you're doing that, right? You're like making your own stuff.
Yeah, home brew, as they call it.
Home brew.
Yeah.
How's that?
I have stage fright for recording. Like the way that people with like crippling stage fright, the way that they feel about going on stage, I feel about recording. So I'm slowly overcoming that. But the few things that I have made, I've been really, really happy with. Like the 365 record that I made. I made that with like limited time and limited resources. I basically like tracked it and mixed it in like 10 or 11 days.
Wow. What? Oh my God.
Yeah, it was I didn't sleep hardly at all. And then I just put out a cover of Wonderful World.
Lovely.
Yeah. And I recorded that at my place, but then Elias played drums and he recorded that at his house.
Nice.
But everything else was recorded here. And then I mixed that as well. And I would love to like work with producers or mixing engineers, but the few times I have worked with just friends to like produce my stuff or mix my stuff, it just hasn't, I haven't been as happy with the end product. So I think there will come a day where I will get connected with producers and mixing engineers that I'll be like really excited to work with. But at this point, with like having no money and the people that I'm connected with, just making it at home for now.
That's so cool.
Thanks.
Like, there's two ways to think about it, obviously. Like, one way is like, oh man, like it'd be cool to have a bunch of people do it, but it's also so cool to have the ability to like mix everything yourself and do it all yourself. I mean, even if it's not like the ideal, sure, it could be different if like a mixing engineer did it, but I think just the ability to do all those things yourself is really cool.
Yeah, it's really nice to not have to like rely on someone else. It's like if I want to stay up all night and just get it done, like it can just be done. And I'm not like waiting on someone else. But the other thing is that it's just an incredible workload.
Yeah.
So like if there's like 100 points is the energy points of like creating an entire like release of a song, it's like 5 points is actually writing the song for me, and then like 95% of the effort is recording, producing, and
maybe that's why it's like not easier for you, but you're just like, oh yeah, I write 2 or 3 times a week because it's like less, that's not like the most energy of it, I guess.
Totally. I wish if all I could do was just write songs, I would be so happy.
Yeah.
But, I can't be happy. That's not how life works.
Well, I think also, like, I guess...
Happiness isn't an option.
Yeah, no.
This is real life.
Real life, man.
This isn't Love is Blind.
This isn't Love is Blind. This is not a 10 episode. No. Um, I think, but I guess also what I really like artistically is like a project that's like an exercise with limitations.
Oh, cool.
Like,
Yeah.
I think, so that is interesting to me. Like your 365 project is like an exercise in limitations.
Totally.
I have a master's degree in education,
Oh,
and
wow.
I wrote, and I wrote my thesis because we had to write a thesis, and I wrote it on structured creativity.
Hmm.
And I studied, I was like, what, 23 or something, and I like studied like with the, you know, anecdotal evidence of one random middle school class that I was in, like the effects of like telling someone just like be creative, just do it, as opposed to like giving it a frame and a structure. Like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, here, make a dog using this paper bag. And like those weird limitations actually make people be more creative.
Yeah.
So I think it is true. I think having like a purpose and a frame and like a, you know, an outline for something makes something seem more purposeful. That's why I liked your project so much. I think it's really cool.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I agree. Like, if I don't have structure or I don't have limitations, I feel overwhelmed with the amount of options there are.
Mm-hmm.
That's part of the reason why I've never downloaded any plugins for like Logic for like my mixing stuff, because it's like there's so much shit that's already on the like if I have any more plugins, too many options.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. How was it? Did you have to get a credential to teach
Yes.
high school? So
Yes.
so you've done a lot of school. You have your bachelor's, master's, and then a credential.
Well, the credential and master's was the same program. Like you got a credential
Cool.
and a master's, and it was like a year.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, yeah. It was
Nice.
it was a quick program. And it was also like my 5th year essentially at UCSB, where I'd already done my undergrad. But yeah, it was cool. It's very interesting.
The stuff that you've been writing during quarantine, is it still nonfiction?
Yeah, I mean, I think
Cool.
like even with creative writing, I've been like, oh man, I sort of stopped writing when I was like 20 something, and in the years since then, there's been a lot of things that have happened that I haven't written about. And I think you just collect experiences. I mean, I think this idea of who said this? George Eliot, this writer. There's this idea that you have the most things to say when you're young, right? Like when you're like 20, 22 or whatever. And I feel like especially in music too, especially for women, like youth is so valued and it's like obsessed over, and it's obviously tied to appearance and stuff. But I think yes, young people definitely have a lot of things to say, but I think you don't really figure out what you want to say until you're older. You know, I think, especially for creative writing and nonfiction and stuff, like, what do you like when you're 20, unless you have like an insane life story, which a lot of people do. But I think even then, you know, hindsight is pretty valuable. I think it just takes a while to figure out what you want to say. I think it's so silly that, I don't know, that youth is so valued. I get it, but
Yeah, it's interesting. I think part of it is definitely like an evolved, like reproductive viability kind of a thing too. Maybe no matter how sophisticated we become, there's always like a tiny part in our brain that's like, we gotta make babies. We gotta. Everybody, like, even if you actively don't want to have children, I think that there's still a part of everyone's brain that's like, we're trying to make babies.
yeah.
So that might have a little bit to do with it. But you're totally right. I mean, there is a culture that overvalues youthful beauty.
I mean, I think it's specifically for women. It's so fucked. Like
Totally.
female musicians, like yeah. And I think so many women now are like, well, fuck that. Like, or like female identifying people are like, I'm not going to subscribe to those standards. I'm
Mm.
not going to, and I think that's really cool. But I
Yep.
like, yeah, it's fucked.
I hear you. Yeah, I mean it's I am a man, so I don't know what it's like, but
Yeah.
at the very least I hear you.
I feel like, yeah, there's this thing, this is a different topic, but I think
Mm.
there's this thing where vulnerability is very, like, what do you think about this?
Mm.
I feel like vulnerability has almost become like a currency.
Yeah.
What do you think about that? Because I feel like you're a very naturally vulnerable person,
Mm.
but I feel like, I mean, especially on social media and stuff, I feel like people, I don't know, there's just all these, yeah, I just think that it's become like a little bit commodified to be vulnerable and to speak truth. And I don't know, it's weird.
I agree with you. I think that when we were growing up, we were seeing kind of the end phases of like the first time in human history that people could be like superstar celebrities.
Mm,
So like we saw like the Madonnas of the world and the Michael Jacksons and the whoever else with like Mary Kate and Ashley, like these like superstar celebrities that were
Britney Spears.
Britney Spears, yeah, like people that were not popular because they were like great leaders or like the president or like something else, like people that were popular because of this like performance entertainment aspect, but then also this like huge machine of America that pointed people's attention with the television towards these like celebrities. Like there's something about the human brain where we love to have a like a point that we obsess over, like these celebrities. It makes us feel so good to like give them so much power for some reason. It's really
Mm-hmm.
weird. But I think that like the culture had experienced so much of that where they were almost like gods, like they were
Yeah.
untouchable, almost extra human, that maybe we've been in like 10 years or so where it has been very surprising that some of these celebrities have like come out and been like really honest
Mm-hmm.
with what's really going on in their lives, or posting a YouTube video about, or not even necessarily those celebrities, but then people have been hungry for anyone to be honest about anything because we've been fed so much
Yeah.
like pristine in the past.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I definitely agree with you. I could see it swinging back the other way, like in another 10 or 15 years or something. Like if we get to the point where everything is just so like honest and vulnerable and real and raw, like we just want some sort of like an escape and like
Yeah.
perfect celebrity, whatever. Um,
I think it's
so
funny
yeah,
too because like I mean quarantine is made like real and raw, like inescapable.
yep.
Everyone's just like sitting in their fucking houses, like in their pajamas, like drinking coffee and eating like frozen bread.
Yep.
Like I mean maybe I think people are right now looking for a little bit more escapism, you
Mm.
know?
Yeah.
I think that's
Yeah,
true.
I bought a PS4. I've been playing video games. It's pretty fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, fuck yeah, this has been the coolest time. Before we sign off,
Yeah, man.
is there anything else you'd like the world to know? Do you have any last words of wisdom for us?
I think stay true to yourself.
Love it.
Um, no, I don't know. I think, yeah, I mean, make some art in quarantine,
Hell yeah.
even if you don't feel like it.
Hell
Shit.
yeah. Love it. Fuck yeah. Well, we don't have to sign off the call just yet, but let's sign off of podcast land.
Do it.
All right. Thanks for
Do it.
listening, everybody. See you next time.
Well, I wanna know what it's like to create inside your mind. Tell me every little thing you do. Raise my empty whiskey glass to the hour that just passed. 'Cause I'm glad I spent them both with you. Feel free to plug your record, tell the people how to look you up. Feel free to share with us the words of wisdom learned with sweat and blood. But before you leave, there's just one thing I've saved right for you.